Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. Hey everyone, thanks for being tuned in to KPOV. That's 88.9 FM, your high desert community radio in Bend, Oregon. I hope you're having a good day. This is Stacey Dredd, Galactic Ambassador in the Cosmic Community. That's our astrology program here on KPOV every Tuesday, 4:30 to 5 p.m., where we discuss the week's planetary and lunar influences, how the energies may be felt in our day-to-day, and also how to work within the cycles of the universe to create a more benevolent life for all. So it doesn't sound too bad for me. Thank you so much for joining me today and making time and space to receive these messages. If you need to access the archive program, need to hear again what you are about to hear, you can do that at kpov.org in the Cosmic Community show page, and that's available for the whole week after. You can also follow me on YouTube, the Cosmic Community Astrology, where I put all of the shows up in video form. And big news here in the Cosmic Community today, actually. I am so very excited to say that there is going to be another way to hear the Cosmic Community again every week, and that is because we're going to be rebroadcasting the Cosmic Community on Saturdays at 9 a.m. Now, this is very cool for me. I wanted to get this message of astrology out to as many people as possible and to become a resource in regards to this type of information for my community. And this is becoming ever expanding, and it's very exciting to me that I'm going to be following my boyfriend's show. Raider Mystic has begun a sports program about 2 months ago on Saturdays. He's moving from 8 to 9 a.m. on Saturdays to use the whole hour there, and then you'll be able to hear the Cosmic Community, Storyland, and then go straight into your dose of reggae music in the coop on Saturdays. So that's very cool, and thank you so much, Jillian, and everybody for making that happen. So getting into the week's astrology, it is another exciting week. The stars, they love to please. And we have another full week of astrology. Yes, I'm going to stop talking about the Cancer full moon now. The last two shows, wow, that was like powerful. Very, very sensitive, emotional energy that was really, really triggered by the retrograde of Mars and Mercury, which this week we have Mercury coming out of retrograde. We'll talk about what that means. Mercury stationing direct, but yeah, we have a week of another forward-moving push, really. We have Mercury coming out of retrograde. We also have the planet of Uranus stationing direct Sunday this week, January 22nd, and a new moon in Aquarius. This is actually the first new moon of the lunar new year. And so the Aquarius new moon really, really triggers a lot of new beginnings. And this is happening at 1 degree and 30 minutes of Aquarius, which just very much pulls in more of this ability to create with this new energy. And so, yeah, I'm excited to dive into this. We also have a shift of seasons. We're moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius, and that means that the sun in the astrology chart is moving out of the sign of Capricorn and into Aquarius. This is a really a lightning. It's a lightening. It's an enlightening energy that Aquarius brings, because Aquarius is ruled by the planet of Uranus. As I mentioned, Uranus is coming out of retrograde, going to be adding to this forward momentum that is really, really coming in this week. So, let's dive into it. I guess I should say I do have a guest here in the cosmic community today. We have a whole batch of amazing new community members who've come in and want to step up for their community and be here on community radio with us. And so Keith is here in the background. He's like fly on the wall right now. He's looking at me like, I can't believe that you just do this. Yep, just do it. That's what we do here. So I love that you were mentioning that you had listened to the last show and you let me know you were a Cancer too. So I love that. I love that that full moon brought you in here for this show today. So I have the chart pulled up. I'm going to be referencing basically the new moon chart. So if you want to follow along, you can go to astro-seek.com and you can look up the astrology chart for January 21st. This is actually the first new moon of the lunar new year. And so at 1 degree of Aquarius is an awakening energy. Aquarius is ruled by the planet of Uranus, which is the planet of surprises, sudden things happening, sudden events, sudden awakenings, sudden illuminations. Things just like really drop into place like a nice game of Tetris, and things become clear. And you get like this breath of fresh air, with Aquarius being an air sign. And also a very open-hearted, socializing energy. This is a social sign. This is where we feel like maybe we need a sudden breakout. You know, it's like been cold and it's been winter now for a month, and so it's like, okay, enough of like those snuggly sweaters and stuff. Let's like get out and get some fresh air and like see what everybody's been up to. And so you might feel a push to really start, getting out there a little bit more for the year. Breathe in some of that fresh air. And another thing that is adding to this is Mercury coming out of retrograde. A planet is retrograde when it's an optical illusion to us on planet Earth when it appears to be moving backwards in the sky. So, actually right now, if you go out like an hour after the sun goes down or whatever, it's actually really beautiful out there right now. The winter sky in terms of astronomy. You know, you've got Jupiter, really bright planet out there. You've got Mars, the red planet, high in the sky, sitting right there next to the Pleiades. Orion is just like spectacularly bright right now. And then Sirius in the picture too. It's a beautiful night sky right now. But you might have noticed that the planet of Mars has been there for a while. It's like, when's he going to move on? And that's the retrograde. That's what you're seeing. It's an optical illusion from here on Earth that the planet moves backwards. Of course, it's in its track around the sun also. And so energetically in astrology, though, what that means is that the energies may be a little less accessible, the energies that are represented by the planet that is in retrograde. So Mercury goes retrograde 3 to 4 times a year. Mercury is the planet of our communication. Mercury is our mind. Mercury is how we think. Also our communication, our talking to each other. Also can represent emailing and those types of communications, transportation, your little trips here and there, little errands, those kinds of short trips around town, also represented by Mercury. the last 3 weeks, Mercury's been in retrograde. And so we might have had a slowdown, a little bit of a lack of energy in regards to all of those things just mentioned. Mercury, though, coming out of retrograde, stationing direct. And so that just means that we're going to be able to access these energies a little bit more. They're going to be a little more forward moving. Maybe over the last few weeks during Mercury retrograde, we've been going back and reconsidering some things because the planet actually moves backwards in the chart through an area. This time it's been in the sign of Capricorn. So you can look in your own astrological birth chart and check out the little flight path of Mercury's retrograde recently and see what area of life this really is like affecting for you. And so the sign of Capricorn is a pretty serious sign. Capricorn represents the bony structures of things, structures in itself. And also Capricorn can be a pretty ambitious energy. And so Mercury been hanging out from about 25 to 8 degrees of Capricorn. You can peek in your chart. And if there are any planets or points that are within that area, you're going to know that that part of your life is like sort of in a little bit of an underhaul. Is that the right word I want to say? You're like, it's like the station around here. You're kind of like refurbishing things, fixing things up, tearing the paint off the walls and picking a new color because it's time for a change. 444 444 444 all over my clocks here. This is Stacy Dredd, Galactic Ambassador in the cosmic community. Thanks for being here. And if you are just joining the program, I gave some news earlier that I got news that there is going to be the Cosmic Community Astrology rebroadcast on Saturdays at 9 a.m. I'm very excited about it. So if you, know anybody else that can get the terrestrial radio and wants to tune in, pass along that information. I'm very pleased and excited about that. And so I want to make sure that, everyone knows that that's happening. I thought that I would bring in one of these planetary audio clips that I play from time to time. So everything is vibration, right? And so even the planets way out in space carry with them a vibration. And this was picked up by NASA. They made recordings of the vibrations and the frequencies coming off of the planets. And from time to time, I like to just check in with these energies and give a little moment of reflection and meditation, if you will. There are 30-second sound clips. And this week we're going to listen to Uranus. And I thought this was really, really important because Uranus is going to be the planetary ruler of this entire week, of the new moon in Aquarius, and of these energies that are coming along with it. So, checking in with Uranus on this very important week, where he's the ruling planet, but also stationing direct. And so, it's basically we're just checking back in. We're checking back in, seeing if there's any messaging available for us with this audio clip of the planet of Uranus. Be right back. That sounded like wind to me. It felt to me like the windows had been opened up in the room, and there are no windows in this room, by the way. This must be like a little ghost effect going on, because I felt like all the windows had been opened up in the room, and that was like a breath of fresh air, like we were just talking about with this energy that's coming in. So thanks to NASA for catching those, and Those are really fun. So whatever, has come in for you there, if you had a sudden feeling or emotion, or if a certain person came to your mind, or, something that has happened over the last few weeks that needs a little bit of your extra attention. These are the messages that we want to embrace. We want to stay open to, because these are the parts of ourselves that are trying to come up and give us an opportunity to process properly and move on from in a really positive way. So that's why I talk about the astrology the way that I do. And that's how I personally benefit from using the information and the energies. We want to work within the cycles. We want to make sure that we're not fighting the waves, or fighting the energies of the moon, Not even the ocean can fight the energies of the moon. So it must be pretty important. So thanks so much for being here. And you can always follow me on YouTube, the Cosmic Community Astrology. So let's dive into the weekend. It is a potent weekend in the astrology, and this new moon in Aquarius is carrying with it so many opportunities for sudden shifts, sudden changes, awakenings. The lightning bolt is very much something that's coming to my mind. Lightning, electricity are all things that are associated with the sign of Aquarius and the planet of Uranus. So it could be quite electric over the weekend. There could be something sudden, very sudden that happens. Uranus is sitting at about just about 15 degrees of Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. Taurus is a pretty fixed energy. Taurus is represented by the slow and steady bull that just, hangs out in the fields all day and is very stoic and takes its time doing everything, doesn't like to be rushed. So the energy of Uranus being in the sign of Taurus is actually pretty unfit. Taurus and Uranus are having to deal with each other, though, because Uranus takes about 10 to 12 to 16, I can't remember how many years, but somewhere between 10 and 16 years to go through a sign. So people with Taurus energy, with a lot of Taurus energy in their charts, sun, you got your sun sign is Taurus, then you could be having a hell of a 10 to 15 to 16 years right now, because you've got a lot of electricity coming through your sign. And also you've maybe had a lot of earth-shattering, ground-breaking sort of things happening. The lightning hitting the ground, and sort of changing the chemistry of the ground where it hits. That's sort of what's coming to my mind. So if you are a Taurus person, or if you have a lot of Taurus energy, hang in there and know that this transit of Uranus moving through the sign of Taurus is pretty challenging, but it is an opportunity to really embrace change. Like I said, Taurus does not like to embrace change, but that's the energies that we get to work with. And so with Uranus being the planetary ruler this week, all of this is coming back up. Uranus, the entire year of 2022, was in a square with Saturn. I talked about it all last year. They're two outer planets. They move very slowly around the chart. So when they come into these exact aspects with each other, something important is going on. We have this opportunity to combine these pretty unfit energies, but actually have an opportunity to sort of alchemize it, bring it into something that works for us. So this is something that's kind of being triggered again by this week's events, by the new moon, by the sun now in a 30-day path through Aquarius, the moon going to be there for 2.5 days over the weekend, that we're going to be diving into these Aquarian themes. So expect change. Expect the windows to be opened up and for entire different ideas to be flowing through. You go into something thinking it's going to go one way and it just completely gets turned backwards the other way. One of the things that's actually written down here in my notes that I use all the time, of course, because I'm really organized DJ, is this energy is of a role reversal energy. So, you might be seeing role reversals, where parents and children are actually, they're having some kind of role reversal, or like your boss and their employee, that there's some kind of role reversal going on there, or maybe, in our relationships or something. But this energy, it's sort of like it turns you on your head. It turns these situations on their head. And, I know that when I get turned on my head, I have a totally different perspective and view of the situation. And so it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have sudden things happen. It's exciting. People like surprises. I mean, you got to admit, we do really like surprises. And the key is to just keep it slow. To slow down, because we are still very much dealing with a slow-moving Mercury, which is a slow-moving mind, and also maybe just not quite putting the words together like normal, having a hard time. The charisma just isn't flowing quite as well when Mercury is so still. Same with Mars. Mars is still picking up speed from stationing direct last week. That's our physical body that's been really slow over the last 6 months. We're still picking up steam as far as, just feeling like actually getting stuff done. We are entering into more of a doing mode, though. We've been in what has seemed like more of a reflective phase, which is really good opportunity. We need to slow down and have those times to rest, relax, but also to reflect and to say, okay, that was a good 6 months, or hey, that was a 6 months that was super challenging, and here's the key points from it, and here's how I'm going to move on from that, and just sort of compartmentalize things and use what you can moving forward. I will say one more thing about the Uranus energy this week. The retrograde with Uranus did take place in 2022, back in August of 2022. It was August 24th of 2022. So if you could think back to August 24th of 2022, and themes that were coming alive for you then, things that you were working on. Some of these things may be re-triggered this week. They may come back up. So don't be super surprised, if things from 6 months ago, come back up and you have another surprise opportunity to work with that and to transmute it and to turn it into something useful and beautiful for yourself. So, that's pretty much it, I guess, for the week. It's kind of the exciting one. Last week, I don't have a ton of things written in. This week, there's a lot. Next week, a little less. But we do have Venus shifting into a new sign next week, which will once again change the energies. She's moving into Pisces, which is a really loving, artistic place for her. So that'll be fun to dive into those juicy energies a little bit more next week. I want to thank Keith for putting up with me today, and I hope I was able to enlighten him to something useful for his future journey, which is so Aquarius new moon of you, because it's all about the future and creating new things. And so I love it. Okay, I guess I'll be back next week, as long as everything is well in the world and the sun keeps spinning. And I really appreciate you being tuned in. You can catch the rebroadcast Saturday at 9 a.m. And I will talk to you next week. Thanks so much. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.